Hello music fans, you're watching Death by Unicorn, where we talk about metal, rock, and prog music. And today it's my 10 favorite EPs of 2025. I've already put out my top 25 albums of 2025, and actually one of the EPs that's my number one is featured in that, so you'll already know what my number one is. But I wanted to make this list to showcase some of these shorter pieces of music that don't quite have the LP length. These albums are mostly in like the 12 to 40-minute range rather than the 40 to 90. Some albums are pretty long. So these are these shorter pieces of music. And without further ado, let's jump in with number 10, which is Teramaze and their album Desire, Colors, and Lust. It's their EP. This is progressive metal, and I put it in my very good tier. And I contemplated putting this in my excellent tier. I initially kind of had it there, but they ended up releasing a full-length album the same year, which includes all the albums from this EP, plus more, kind of rendering this EP obsolete. I don't really like when bands do that. So that's kind of what docked it a point for me. Check out the track Sinister for a preview of this EP. Teramaze is an Australian band who consistently and regularly puts out excellent music, and I think they're still sounding like they're in peak form. And when this came out, I was kind of just wishing it was a full length, and then they ended up putting out a full length with all this stuff on it and more. So I kind of wish they just hadn't put out this EP and just put out the full length, because it's kind of weird to have this out here with like if people bought this and then they bought the LP, they don't really have anything new on anything on this that's not on any of the LP stuff. But this is very accessible progressive metal. It's got a big emphasis on clean melodic vocals, big powerful choruses, great riffs, guitar solos, interesting compositions. The title track, Desire, Colors, and Lust, is also awesome. The full-length album from this year is called The Harmony Machine, and it features all the tracks on this EP and more, so it kind of makes this EP less essential. But I do still highly recommend checking out Desire, Colors, and Lust by Teramaze, or just check out the full The Harmony Machine album. Now on to number 9, I've got Syncopia with their album Phase 2 EP. This is progressive metalcore, and I put this in my excellent tier. Check out the track Pearly Gates for a preview here. Syncopia is a German band, and this is the first music of theirs that I heard. I heard the early release single on Bandcamp first, called Call of the Sea, which is awesome. Great, catchy, clean female vocals on the chorus and intense, harsh vocals during the other sections of the song. Great guitar riffs and energy. The whole EP is just excellent. If you're a fan of Red Handed Denial, Spirit Box, Sordid Pink, and Novelists, and those other metalcore bands that are a bit more progressive and djenty and technical, but just have great, catchy, clean female vocal hooks, definitely check out Phase 2 EP by Syncopia. At number 8, I've got Aeons and their EP 6EQUJ5. This is progressive metalcore with technical death metal influences, and it's in my excellent tier as well. Check out the title track. Well, there's only one track on this EP, so it's one epic length track. Aeons is a band from the Isle of Man, self-governing British Crown dependency in the Irish Sea between England and Ireland. You don't hear about it too much because it's small and there's not too many bands from there, though I recall hearing the Bee Gees were born there but later moved to Australia. But I really loved Aeon's 2024 album, The Ghost of What We Knew. That's an excellent one. And this new EP is just them doing one long epic track. It's almost 23 minutes long, and it ranges from extremely heavy metal moments with harsh vocals for fans of Periphery and The Ocean to beautiful atmospheric stuff reminiscent of Pink Floyd. So if that sounds good to you, check out 6EQ UJ5 by Aeons. Terrible title for an EP. I'm not sure what it means, but that's what they chose. At number 7, I've got an awesome band called Sykofant and their album Red Sun, or their EP Red Sun. And I thought they were even going to put out another EP in 2025 and then kind of like combine them to make a full length. Kind of like what I said I didn't like about Teramaze doing. Kind of wish the bands had just put out the full length albums, but I get it, like wanting to release stuff more often. And I could be guilty of that too. If when I make music, I probably just put out shorter stuff. I just don't have the time to make full albums. But this one is progressive rock with jazz fusion. It's metal in parts, but not really metal. Check out the track Embers for a preview here. Sykofant is a Norwegian band. They're from Oslo. And I love their self-titled debut album from 2024. I did a full-length review for that on my channel after the band sent me a promo copy. They also sent me this EP early. I love it as well, equally as excellent as their debut. And they told me this EP is the first of 2 interconnected releases that are both going to be thematically and musically connected. And they mentioned that the second was set to arrive later in 2025, but it hasn't come yet. So I'm guessing it's going to come in 2026 at this point, since the year is over. But together, these twin EPs will form a cohesive album, which will be available in physical formats. And this EP by Sykofant just has adventurous storytelling, intricate arrangements, fluid exploration of genres, is rooted in progressive rock, but reaches into cinematic, jazz-inspired, and even metal territories. Really great stuff. Some parts in the second track, Red Sun, remind me a lot of Breathe by Pink Floyd. The third track, Embers, is a bit heavier, almost has some metal influence. The vocals remind me a bit of He Is Legend, with that hard rock and stoner rock alternative sound, but gritty and grungy, almost metal and hardcore inspired without ever screaming or losing melody. It's all clean vocals here. The guitars in that track sometimes sound like Alex Lifeson of Rush, but other points they sound trippy and psychedelic. Very cool stuff. There's a mysterious chord that's like a James Bond spy movie chord that ends the track and ends the EP. So definitely check it out if you want to hear what it would sound like to combine classic rock with a bit of prog in it, like Pink Floyd, Rush, Led Zeppelin, with a bit more modern, like desert sounding, stoner sounding, almost metal, almost grunge stuff like Queens of the Stone Age, He Is Legend, Mastodon, that kind of thing. Check out Red Sun by Sykofant. At number 6, I've got Darko and their EP called Canvas. This is technical, melodic, hardcore punk with metalcore and progressive metal influences, also in my excellent tier, just like the Sykofant release and most of the releases on this list today. Check out the track Override for a preview of this one from Darko. And this is the Darko from the UK, not to be confused with the band Darko from the US. I prefer the UK Darko over the US Darko, though they're both all right. And I thought their 2024 EP Grayscale was very good, and so I was looking forward to checking this out. If you like technical music that's inspired by punk rock, so bands like Propaganda, Protest the Hero, Choke, A Wilhelm Scream, definitely check this out. It sounds like those bands. It's essentially this progressive hardcore punk, which is a sound I really enjoy. They've got really fast guitars as well, great guitar leads going throughout their songs, really fun to listen to. Check out Canvas by Darko. At number 5, I've got Paradigm Blue and their EP Frontiers. This is progressive rock in my excellent tier, and check out the track Snakebit for a preview here. Paradigm Blue is an American band. They're very underrated. I think they deserve some more fans. If you're a fan of Rush, definitely check it out. They sound like Rush if Tobias Forge from Ghost was the lead singer of Rush. That's kind of what this band sounds like to me. And they call it an EP, but it's over 37 minutes long, so I think it almost could be considered a full-length album. It's almost full album length, probably the longest. I think it's the longest one on my list here. Like I said, most are in the 20-ish minute range, but this one's 37 minutes. But really awesome stuff. Check it out. Frontiers by Paradigm Blue. And number 4, I've got the band Carbomb with their EP Tiles Whisper Dreams. This one's Mathcore, and it's in my excellent tier. Check out the track Paroxysm for a preview here. Carbomb is just an amazing American mathcore band. They've got a Djent style of guitar playing, but they do even more chaotic stuff with rhythm changes than most Djent bands could dream of. And this one's a really short EP. It might be the shortest on here at only 12 minutes long, but it really packs a punch. It's relentlessly brutal, chaotic, heavy, and technical the whole time. There's wild, harsh vocals reminiscent of Meshuggah. And yeah, there's nothing clean on here. It's just punishing you for 12 minutes of relentless brutality. Possibly the heaviest and most brutal band around today. But at the same time, they're very musical, they're technical, they're proficient at all their instruments, the rhythms are intricate. It's hard to know what time signature you're in, and the way they change tempos by slowing down and speeding up, it's very unique and unusual. The way they make their guitars sound like race cars is also pretty cool. So check this out if you want to hear the sound of Meshuggah meet the insanity of the Dillinger Escape Plan. I only just wish this was longer. If they gave us a full-length album, it would probably get my near masterpiece rating. It would have been in my year-end top 25 albums, but it's so short, so I just put it in my excellent tier, though this is definitely one of the best EPs of the year. I have it at number 4. Tiles Whisper Dreams by Carbomb. And number 3, another mathcore one by Rolo Tomassi, called In the Echo of All Dreams. This is mathcore with progressive rock, post-metal, post-rock, metalcore, pop, djent, industrial metal, post-hardcore, kind of all that mixed together. Also in my excellent tier, check out the track Tempest for a preview here. Rolo Tomassi is a British band that I just love. Great female vocals here, and all of their albums are near masterpieces for me. They're very consistent in quality, and this EP continues my love for them. Eva Corman's ability to sing beautifully and scream with the best of them continues to impress me. And this EP is short as well, at only 15 minutes long. I just wish it was longer. If this was a full album length, I'd give it a near masterpiece rating, just like I said for Carbomb. But since it's so short, it left me wanting more. I just put it in my excellent tier. If you're a fan of Pupil Slicer, I Wrestled the Bear Once, the Dillinger Escape Plan, the number 12 Looks Like You, the Fall of Troy, definitely check this one out. In the Echo of All Dreams by Rolo Tomassi. And number 2, I've got the Deer Hunter and their EP called North American. And this is progressive rock with indie rock influences. I put it in my excellent tier. Check out the track Magic Beans for a preview. And this one it features 5 new songs that were in their film that they put out about their 2023 North American tour. In the film, these songs were featured instrumentally without vocals, but in the EP, they've added vocals to the songs. And I think this might be their best EP that they've done yet. Though I guess they've done all those color spectrum ones, and some of those are pretty cool. All is all shall be is pretty cool. So it's got some tough competition, but I think this is pretty cool. Though I was more looking forward to a full studio album from them that we unfortunately didn't get. But the songs here are a bit more straightforward and normal sounding than what they typically put on their full-length studio albums. But they do still have enough cool production tricks, great composition, great melodies, and a few unexpected turns and directions, some artsy psychedelic vibes, which make it really fun to listen to. And I just think they're a great band and always put out stellar material. So check out North American EP by The Deer Hunter. my number 2 EP of 2025. My number 1 EP of 2025 is one that I mentioned in my top 25 albums because it was so good. I just put it up there with the albums. And it's Nospun with their EP called Ozai. It's a re-recording of something that they made way back when the band was called Ozai. So this is progressive metal / Djent, and it's the one EP on here that I'm giving my near masterpiece rating. Check out the track The Effervescent Power for a preview here. I listened to the original Ozai EP. I enjoyed it too. It's also excellent stuff, but their performances and production capabilities have just greatly improved since they made the original. So this new version is better. They swapped the order of a couple of tracks on this version. I'm not sure why. They also added a new song that wasn't on the 2014 EP right in the middle of the EP called Out With a Bang. And yeah, I think this is awesome. I don't expect this to be as good as I don't go into this expecting it to be as good as their full-length album Opus, which I actually think is a true masterpiece tier album. But this is just great prog metal. It's just a snack to tide us over until their next full-length album. It's stylistically different from their debut full-length because it features some harsh vocals, though the focus is still mostly on clean vocals here. And yeah, my favorite track's The Effervescent Power, but every track's amazing. So check out Ozai EP, the re-recording from Nospun, my number 1 EP of 2025. What do you think of this list? Let me know down in the comments. And what are some of your favorite EPs that came out in 2025? Also let me know. And if you want to see some of the other year-end content I've been putting out, I've already put up my top 25 albums, so go check that out on my channel. And I've been doing top 10 albums by genre where I've covered instrumental, post-hardcore, metalcore, black metal, and non-metal, non-rock, non-prog. I've also done a video where I mentioned the best rock album in each subgenre, covering 13 different subgenres of rock, and the same kind of thing for metal, covering 15 different subgenres of metal and my favorite albums in those genres from 2025. To finish out this 2025 year-end content run, I'm going to talk about my top live albums, my top prog rock albums, and my top debut albums in future videos, as well as probably my top prog epic tracks of 2025. If you have any other ideas for lists for me to make, also let me know. And then we'll be focusing on 2026, which I'm excited to dive into some new 2026 releases and start giving my first impressions on new stuff that comes out every week. So if you like metal, rock, and prog music, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm sure I'll be able to uncover some hidden gems for you and turn you on to some new music. So see you next time, and peace out.